What's up internet, welcome back once again. I am Manish from rebellionrider.com. Today's tutorial is on introduction of triggers in Oracle PL-SQL. In this tutorial, I will try to explain the concepts of triggers as well as give you the answers of almost all the questions which you might face in your certification exam or in your interview. So without further ado, let's start the tutorial. Triggers are named PL-SQL blocks which are stored in the database, or we can also say that they are specialized store programs which execute implicitly when a triggering event occurs, which means we cannot call and execute them directly. Instead, they only get triggered by events in the database. Now the question arises here, what are these events? These events can be anything such as a DML statement, for example update, insert or delete, executing on any table of your database. A DDL statement such as create or alter. These triggers are generally used by DBAs for auditing purposes. A system event, yes, you can create a trigger on a system event, and by system event I mean shutdown or startup of your database. Another type of triggering event can be user events such as log off or log on onto your database. Next topic is about types of triggers. There are 5 types of triggers in Oracle database, in which 3 of them are based on the triggering events which we just discussed. Let's take a detailed look at the types. Data manipulation language triggers or DML triggers. As the name suggests, these are the triggers which depends on DML statements such as update, insert or delete, and they get fired either before or after them. Data definition language triggers or DDL triggers. These are the triggers which are created over DDL statements such as create or alter. Using this type of trigger, you can monitor the behavior and force rules on your DDL statements that we will see in upcoming tutorials. System or database event triggers. Third type of triggers is system or database triggers. You must have guessed till now that these are the type of triggers which come into action when some system event occurs such as database logon or log off. Instead of trigger. This is a type of trigger which enables you to stop and redirect the performance of a DML statement. Often this type of trigger helps you in managing the way you write non-updatable views. You can also see the application of business rules by instead of triggers where they insert, update or delete rows directly in tables that are defining updatable views. And the last is compound triggers. These are multitasking triggers that act as both statement as well as row level triggers when the data is inserted, updated or deleted from a table. Compound triggers can be used to audit, check, save and replace the values even before they are changed right when there is a need to take action at statement as well as row event levels. You can visit my blog on the same topic for an in-depth knowledge on triggering events and triggers type in Oracle database. Click the YouTube card on your screen for the link. Next we will discuss the syntax. You must be thinking what is the need for this. Knowing a correct syntax helps you in smoothly answering questions in your certification exam where you have to guess the error. You can easily answer these guess the error questions if you know the correct syntax. That being said, let's take a look at the syntax of triggers in database. Create or replace are 2 keywords where keyword or replace is optional and come in handy when you want to alter the definition of already created trigger, followed by another keyword trigger which specifies the type of object you want to create. Then we have trigger name which is user defined, that means you can give whatever name you want. Keyword before or after specifies when the trigger fires, followed by triggering event which can be anything from the list which we just discussed. Then we have to specify the table name using keyword on over which you want your trigger to work. Then we have an optional clause for each row. This clause specifies that the trigger is a row trigger and fires once for each row that is inserted, updated or deleted. Next clause is follows, which is again optional and allows you to specify the order in which trigger should fire. This clause is useful when you have multiple triggers defined on the same table and you want to set an order for their execution. And then we have enable or disable clause. Using this clause, you can set the status of your trigger. If the status of your trigger is enabled, then it will fire when a triggering event occurs. While if it is disabled, then it simply doesn't fire when a triggering event occurs. Next clause is when. Using this, you can gain more control on your triggers because when clause lets you specify the condition which needs to be evaluated to true for the trigger to fire. Followed by when clause, we have our declaration, execution and exception section which we have discussed in our first PL-SQL tutorial. As we have discussed the syntax, now let's see some uses of triggers. First, using triggers, we can enforce business rules that cannot be defined by using integrity constants. Second, using triggers, we can gain strong control over the security. Third, we can also collect statistical information on table access. Fourth, we can automatically generate values for derived columns such as auto-increment numeric primary key. Fifth, using triggers, you can prevent invalid transactions. Similar to uses, there are several restrictions on triggers in Oracle databases too, which you can read on my blog. You can visit my website for more in-depth knowledge on same topic, which will help you in getting good marks in your certification exam and nailing your interview. Link is in the description below. If you like this video, then please hit that thumbs up button and share it with your friends on your social media. You can also follow me on my Twitter for more regular updates. All my social media links are in the description of the video. Thanks for watching. This is Manish from Rebellion Rider.